Okay, so in the last class, we discussed about different literals. We focused and we concluded the discussion on numerical literals, how to declare one integer or float or a complex literal. Uh, Also, we discussed about what is a Boolean literal. A Boolean literal will be those which will be having either a value true with capital T and false with capital F. Here, true and false are two Python defined keywords. That is, they are defined by the Python developer and they are given as a keyword or reserved word. That is, we cannot use them as a name of some of the variables that we will be declaring during our coding. I also mentioned that I will be referring to literals at some point with values as well. So, so the thing is, we will be interchangeably using the term value and literal to indicate or to refer to the same concept. So, the other type of Python literal, the third type of Python literal is a special literal. Uh, as you can understand, I am specifying the special literal with a singular way. That means there is only one special literal in Python, that is called none, None, with capital N. It is again one reserved word or a keyword in Python. It is used to define something similar to a null variable which is available or which is the way we have written codes in C or Java or C++. Those of you who had some programming knowledge, you know we have done some programming. I mean, in C there is a null character. There is one null with capital N, capital U, capital L. In Java, it is exactly same, NULL, all in small. So the corresponding way to define a null variable in Python is called none, which is a keyword. This none is used to specify that a variable is not assigned with a value yet. That is, it is not containing any value or it is not assigned to, it is, unassigned by any object. Why I am referring to it as an object? Because we have already seen that in Python, everything is basically object of some class. If I declare A equals to 5, then A is basically an object of integer class. So in this case, if I declare A equals to none, if I declare, say, A equals to none, you can see the color is getting changed because none is a keyword. Now, if I print the value of A, you'll see none is getting printed, but this none is not actually a string none. To print the type of the variable A here, you'll be seeing it is a none type. It is, so basically here, A is an object of none type class. And this none type is similar to the null variable which is available in C, C++ or Java. It specifies that so far this variable is not containing any memory location in the computer, in the system. So this is basically one example. Say var1, I have declared one variable. I have initialized it with 153. I have declared another variable 2 with var2 with none. Now, if I print the value of var1 and var2, it will be giving 153 and none, as we have already seen. And the type of var2 will be of none type. Another thing is, if none is compared with anything Other than none, it will be returning a false value or it will be returning a true value. Let's try that as well. Here var1 is basically 153, right? Var1 is containing 153, var2 is containing none. In the last class, we briefly discussed or introduced you with this double equals to, which is an operator to check whether two variable or two literals or a variable and a literal are same or not. So here I am checking whether var1 is containing the same value as var2 or not. Similarly, here I am checking whether var2 is containing none or not. First of all, let's print the, I have commented this out. That is basically this line will not be executed. If I execute this cell, only this cell will be this line will be executed. If I print, if I execute this, you can see var1 equals to var2 is basically false. That means var1 is not equals to var2. And if I do this, var2 is none. So here it is basically none equals to none, which is basically true. That's why the output will be true. This none character will also be used to check whether we have completed the traversal of a list. Now, what is list? There will be around 2 or 3 weeks dedicated to list later on in the course. List is a very important concept in Python. We'll be discussing list, and at that point we'll be discussing the application of none to check or to verify whether we have encountered, whether we have reached the end of a list or not. At that point, none will be used. Also, it can be, the none can be used to specify that a field of an object or the field of an object of a class is not yet created, or is it still existing, or it has not been existing in the memory. That can also be used, or that can also be checked using this none special literal. Again, this will be discussed when we'll be discussing classes and objects. You might be wondering, I am skipping so many things. Please bear with me. I'll be discussing all single details in this course. I am touching everything that I am encountering. I am just giving you the brief about the concept, and at the corresponding, when the time will be coming, I'll be discussing them. In a comprehensive way. Now we have, while discussing about a Python program, we stated that a Python program will be consisting of a set of expressions and set of statements, right? So an expression, we have discussed briefly, we have introduced that an expression will be a combination of values, that is literals, variables, and operators. So if an expression is typed in directly in the command line or directly in the interpreter in an interactive way, it will be evaluated and the result will be displayed, such as we have already seen. So if I do something like if I write, say, extremely sorry. If I write 2.34 plus 5, and if I execute it, you can see directly it is being evaluated and the corresponding result is being shown. So this is an expression. Also, a single literal can also be an expression. This is an expression as well. But an operator cannot be on its own be an expression. This is an operator which is expecting two operands. We have briefly discussed, or we have shown, in case the operands are integers, such as this, this plus operator will be working as a summation operator. In case they are the strings, they will be the plus operator will be working as a concatenation operator. But the point is, if an expression is something like this, it will be also be evaluating. Also, if I declare one variable, say a equals to 10, okay, and then you can see there is no immediate output. Now, if I only type in a and execute the cell, you can see the output is being shown. That is, this is also an expression. This is an expression containing only one variable. That's it. Again, this we have already seen that although expression may contain values, variables, operators, but at not every time an expression will be containing all these three components. Such as here a equals to 10, say 20. Here we are getting the output as 30. Here it is containing the variable, the operator, as well as the literal or the value. In this case, this is also an expression containing all the three components, that is variable, operator, and expression. Variable, operator, and literal. We have seen that 153 itself is an expression. Also, r equals to 5, as we have seen, r equals to 10 for a small example here, is also an expression. This is also another expression. So this is a way to declare two separate expressions in the same line. Let's look at that. So if I type in, say, m equals to 10, and one way of declaring another variable is in the next line. Another way of declaring another variable is we should be putting one semicolon in between the two expressions. Is it an expression? No. This is a statement. Pardon my misplacing word. This is a statement. So at any point, if we want to have multiple statements in the same line, we can put one semicolon in between them. Note that this is semicolon. Earlier we have written one code where we have used a colon. So colon and semicolon are two entirely different operators in Python, or two specially designated characters which are having specially designated works to be performed by them. Also, this is basically a statement, basically a set of two statements. This is one statement, this is another statement. Here we have a variable, an operator, and basically a value. As I have said, this is a statement. But earlier we have said that an expression, a statement is also an expression. So that's why this is also an expression. So here basically there are two expressions in the same line. This is another expression. I'm basically multiplying 2 with 3.1415 and one variable r. And this expression will be evaluated if we put them in the interactive way in the Python interpreter. And this is another expression. But note that this is not actually a valid expression. 4 space 3 space pi space r space r space r. So this is an invalid expression in Python. So what it is expecting, what the Python interpreter is expecting is 4 space. As soon as it is encountering one space, it is realizing the component that it was reading up to that point is over. So as it has basically read only 4. So 4 is a literal. So it is basically expecting one operator after that. If there is no space, 43 will be, basically 43 will be considered as a single value. But as soon as it is encountering one space in between them, it is basically considering it as two separate literals. And two separate literals cannot be staying together without being, without having one operator in between, like this. If I write something like, say, 12, 13, it is an invalid one. This is an invalid statement. But what we need to do is we should be having some operator in between them. That case, it will be an expression. Here, this is an error. This is also an error. Now again, an expression is a combination of values, variables, and operators. We have discussed about values, that is literals. We have discussed about variables as well. Today's agenda, we will be discussing about different operators. So operators are the basically special symbols that specify some particular computation, such as, say, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. And you might be wondering, or you might be realizing that the operation the operation in which the operator will be encountering, or the operation that this operator will be performing, should have some operands as well. So the operands in this case will be either values or variables. So operands will be values or variables the operator operates on. So in Python, mostly there are 7 types of operators: arithmetic operators, assignment operator, comparison operator, logical operator, bitwise operator, and some specific collection literal based operators, which are identity operators and membership operators. We will be discussing all of them. In today's class, we will be discussing the first 5. Identity operators and membership operators will be discussing when we'll be discussing the collection literal. The collection literal is basically list, as I have mentioned briefly, the name at least, sets, tuples, and dictionary. These are 4 special type of collection literals. While we will be discussing them, we will be discussing about this identity operator and membership operator. First, we will be starting with arithmetic operators. So, of course, there are the plus, minus, addition, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division operators available in Python, which are similar to those available in mathematics. So plus is the for adding two values, star is for multiplication, minus for subtraction, slash for division, front slash. Note that it is the front slash. And backslash, as we have earlier discussed, backslash is the escape character. I guess you are recalling it. The backslash n we have used to indicate a new line, or backslash t to indicate one tab character. There are 3 other special type of arithmetic operators available in Python as well. Double star is an arithmetic operator which indicates an exponentiation. We'll be discussing in a short while. Along with that, there are 2 more arithmetic operators. One is double slash, and another is this percentage sign. So first, let's discuss this 4 operators which are similar, which works in the similar way as mathematics: plus, minus, star, and slash. So this is basically, so we have already seen them. Like here, star is the multiplication operator. Earlier we have used plus as the addition operator. the exponentiation operator we can look at. So basically, so if I want to perform, say, 3 square, one way of doing this, performing 3 square is like this. Sorry, 3 cube. If I want to perform 3 cube, 3 cube is 3 multiplied 3 times with itself. This is a way of writing 3 cube. Another way is to write is to do the same thing is 3 double star 3. So of course you might be wondering, we can already we can do this, why we are imposing this kind of a new operator. That is, you can also guess the answer. So what if I want to do, say, 3 to the power 10? In that case, I have to write this so many times. Instead, what I can do is I can just do this by this. This is the application of exponentiation operator. The way an expression, a mathematical expression, will be evaluated will be following the same BODMAS or PEMDAS rule. PEMDAS rule, sorry. So let's try to evaluate this. So I have already written it here. Yes. Okay, so here, as I have said, given one expression with multiple operators, it will be following the BODMAS or PEMDAS rule. So first, can you guess which operation will be performed first in this expression? Anyone? Anyone, please respond.
Sir, division.
First division.
Yes.
And then?
Multiplication.
Then multiplication. Acha. When this exponentiation will be happening?
At the time of multiplication.
At the time of multiplication. So what is the expected output from this?
That I have to check.
Check at your end and please let me know.
Yeah.
So as you were saying, this will be evaluated first. So as there is no bracket, so the first operation that will be, so if I just, don't waste your time. So it will be 6.968. Now, which operation is getting performed first? How to check that? This is a simple mathematical question to you guys. How to check which among these, there are basically 5 operations that are being performed in this expression. Among this, which operation is being performed first? Can someone say how to check that? How to check that? You are saying that this is the first expression that is being evaluated, but how to check that? Anyone?
We can close this division by a bracket, and if the
very nice, very nice. So if I put this, so as BODMAS rule specifies, bracket will be evaluated first. So if this and this are giving the same result, then it is basically giving, this bracket is basically being evaluated first. This division is being evaluated first. Now what I have done is I have copied the same code here in the next cell and I have put this bracket. Now if I execute this, not the same result. So now you can understand what's actually happening here. And if I have the same expression with putting the bracket here, I'll be getting the same result. So that is the exponentiation is the having the highest priority. So I hope you can understand. This is a way to check the evaluation of a statement, or not a statement, and an expression here. Okay. Please respond. Yes, any question? Someone was asking in some question, I guess. Please respond a bit. Come on, guys. I mean, I am online, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Acha, okay. Please respond time to time. So exponentiation is the first operation that is being computed here. So basically 5 cube, then it is being divided by 4 being divided by that result, and then basically this operation is being performed 2 star 3, which is basically 6. This minus, so basically what we are ending up with is 1 plus 6 minus 4 by 125. So this is the result, which will be resulting into 6.968. So here you can see I have already mentioned that brackets are having the highest priority, then order and exponentiation. That's why this star, double star, is being evaluated before this slash, or before this division, or if there is any multiplication as well. This is being evaluated first, and then the usual way. Okay, so before going further, okay, so this thing we'll be discussing a little bit later. Okay, so some valid operations using these arithmetic operators are like this. Say hour star 60 plus minute, or minute slash 60, or say second star 60 star 24. So can you say, okay, let me just type in this thing in the terminal, in our Jupyter notebook. Okay, hour star 60 plus minute. Okay, hour star 60 plus minute. Can you say whether, I mean, if I execute this, what will happen? This is a simple question, a very basic fundamental question.
It will print hour 60 times and then concatenation with minute.
Why? What is hour here? What is hour and what is minute?
The string.
No, strings are enclosed with this plus, with this quotes. This is not inside a quote. This is just HOUR, then star. There is a space which we can exclude as well. So what is this? This is a mathematical expression, but here this is okay. The interpreter understands this. It understands that this is a multiplication operator. It can understand this as well. It can understand that this is a mathematical value, which is 6060. This is another operator plus. But what is hour and what is minute? The interpreter is not unaware of them. So if I execute, I'll be getting one name error. Hour not defined, minute also not defined. So what I need to do is, before using some variables, so I am expecting them to be containing some value. That is, I am expecting them to be some variables, but I haven't declared them yet. So what I need to do is, I need to declare them before using them. Say 23. Now if I execute this, after that, now this is perfectly fine. Got it? So any mathematical expression, if we are using some variable, the variable should be defined before its use. Here I am using it, here I am defining it. Got it? Okay. So another thing with this slash operator. So let's declare this minute as say 23. Okay. Now, if I divide minute with say 4, this slash will be working as a perfectly, this will be resulting in with a decimal value, that is the result of division of 23 by 4. But this is basically an update over Python 2 in Python 3. In Python 2, the earlier version, it will be basically printing 5, not the 0.75. So it will be basically printing the quotient after dividing 23 by 4. Okay. Although, I just mentioned this because in case some of you had some Python knowledge and had used Python 2, this is to just give you the update that is available in Python 3. Now, as we have seen here, minute divided by 4, we are getting the exact result. What if I want to get the remainder and the quotient separately? For them, there is this two special operators, which is this double slash and this percentage sign. What we need to do is, so if I want to get the quotient, that is in this case, if I want to get 5 only out of this 23 divided by 4, I need to apply this. Okay, I'm getting the, so this is basically to get the quotient. Similarly, to get the remainder, I will be using this percentage sign. So this will be resulting in 3. So this is to get the, sorry. Now, what is the application? Of course, we can think of some application at any time, but let's discuss one application of having this double slash, that is getting the quotient, or having this percentage sign to get the remainder, where it will be basically applicable. So, as an example, write a program to reverse an integer. Let's consider we have an integer that is being, that is given as input to us, and we want to basically reverse it. So let's try to do that. So let's consider the input is so let's consider the input is say 153. I want to reverse it. That is, I want to make it 351. Basically, what I need to do is I need to consider the different digits in the number individually, right? Now, given I only have say some variable, say x, which is containing the value 153, how will I be getting the individual digits? Can someone guess? The hint is we need to use that percentage sign to get the remainder, and we also need to use that the double slash sign, double slash operator to get the quotient. How? So given 153, how will I be getting 3?
Sir, when it will be divided by 10, then
Correct.
yeah.
So we will be dividing 153 by 10. The remainder will be 3. The quotient will be 15. Now again, I need to divide 15 by 10. The remainder will be 5. The quotient will be 1. Again, I need to divide this 1 with 10. The remainder will be what? Tell me.
1.
1.
Correct. It will be 1 and the quotient will be 0. Now I need to consider them. So basically, I am getting this output as 3, then 5, then 1. So we will be writing the code, but for the time being, this is the pseudo code to do that. X, I'm taking the integer as input. While x is not equal to 0, what I am doing is I am printing the value of x. Basically, this is called mod operator, modulus operator, x mod 10, and I am storing the new value basically after dividing the old value of x by 10. So this is basically I am printing the remainder and I am putting the quotient into and making it as the new x. And I am continuing this until and unless I am getting x equals to 0. So while x is not equal to 0, I am doing print x mod 10 and x equals to x / 10. So we haven't discussed this part that part to discuss to write the code as of now. So we will be doing this when in the next class, I guess, when we'll be discussing in details about conditional statements and flow control. Flow control, I think we'll be starting next week, next Wednesday. So the conditional statement, as you can understand from the color, this is basically responsibility of the conditional statement to check whether something is equal to or not, something is equal to something or not, or not, or not equal to or greater than or less than. This thing is the responsibility of this conditional statement, and this while thing is basically called a flow control, which we'll be discussing later. So the next the second operator is assignment operator. We have already discussed this. So basically assignment operator used to assign some values to a variables. Also we can assign some variable to another variable as well. Like we can write something like, say a equals to 10, b equals to 20. Now I can do b equals to a as well. So this is here I am assigning one literal to a variable. Here I am assigning one variable to another variable. Okay, so before that, okay, one thing I would like you to try, please try executing this and check the output and try to explain why we are getting that output. Okay, so I will be sharing this Jupyter notebook with you guys after the class. Also, you can take a note and you can try explaining why we are getting the result we'll be getting, why we are getting that. Okay. So there is another way of using the assignment operator, that is the plus operator. That is called a compound operator using plus or using assignment operator, which is also called a shorthand operator. So compound operators are of the form something, here I am mentioning it as a star to indicate something, equals to. What it does is it performs an operation on some variable and assigns the resulting value to the same variable, something like this. Where equals to some operation where this operation is basically based on the present value of var. So basically, consider var is containing some value, and I want to add the value, add say 5 to it, and store the new value into the same var. So in this scenarios, this compound operator can be used. Now this star can be either of the 7 operators that we have earlier described: plus, minus, star, slash, double slash, percentage, or double star. So here are the explanation. So plus equals to means basically an example is x plus equals to 5. That means x equals to x plus 5. Similarly, x star equals to 5. That means x equals to x star 5, and so on. So again, this is called shorthand operator. We can write this as well, but we are writing in this way. What I am doing is, what this is doing is, it is considering the old value of x and dividing that old value of x by 5 and storing the remainder in x. Okay. Now just briefly try that. Say y equals to 5. So not y equals to 5, y plus equals to 5. So if I execute this cell, can someone guess what will be the output?
Syntax error, because
Correct.
we are not given y.
Very nice, very nice. So if I execute this, we'll be having not a syntax error, it's a name error. So because y is not yet defined, because this is nothing but y equals to y plus 5, right? And in the right hand side, this is this variable. In right hand side, if there is a variable, that variable should be declared before it can be used. So there is no existence of y before this. That's why it is giving me a name error, indicating that y is not yet defined. What we need to do is, if I want to, if we need to declare y with some value, say 12, then this will be resulting in, so you can see there is no immediate output. Now if I print the value of y, we'll be getting 17. Or another way is, as I have mentioned, just to specify the value, or just to specify the variable name y. Okay. The third type of operator is comparison operator. Now here, the code that we have, the pseudocode that we have shown here, this thing is basically is the responsibility of the comparison operator to take care of. So there are several comparison operators, such as this double equals to we have already encountered, and without formally defining it, we have used it. Equals to is basically equal to check. Percentage, not percentage, sorry, exclamation equals to is basically an operator to check whether two variables or one variable and a value is not equal to or not. Not equal to or not means whether they are basically equal to or not, said in another way. So this thing is another way of defining this in Python 2 is using this less than, greater than sign altogether. Again, this is not actually defined. This is excluded in Python 3, so we will be using this. Also, less than operator is this, less than equals to, greater than equals to, greater than, indicating the usual meaning. So they operate on Boolean expressions. So what is the Boolean expression? It is basically an expression that evaluates to either a true value or a false value. Okay, so let's before going into further details, let's write some code. Say a equals to 10, b equals to 20, c equals to 30. Now let's check whether the value of a is equal to value of b or not. So what I'll be doing is print A equals to say B. So A equals to B. This statement, if I translate it in simple English, it is basically I am checking whether A is equal to B or not, or in another word, whether A and B are containing the same value or not. In this case, so this is a Boolean expression, as I have said. Boolean expression means there can be two outputs. Two different outputs, either true or false. It will be true if it is basically true if A is containing the same value as B, and false otherwise. In this case, it will be false. Oops, sorry. Now, wait a minute. So why I am getting this error? Can someone say? Name error. Name error means B is not defined. So I haven't executed this cell. That's why I am getting this error. Those of you who will be using notebook, you will be encountering this later on. So this is, so if I execute this cell now, it is perfectly fine. It will be printing false. Similarly, if I make say A equals to C, it will be true. Similarly, if I do say A not equals to C, so it is basically I am checking whether A is containing the same value, A is not containing the same value as C. A is not containing the same value as C, which is basically what? Someone tell me.
So it will be false.
Correct, it will be false because A is basically equals to true. Equals to C. That's why it is true. So if A equals to B is true, then A not equals to B will be false. As simple as that. Some other examples, say two variables, say two strings S1 and S2. I can also check whether they are equal or not using this. Again, I haven't executed this cell, that's why I'm getting this name error. And this is, and if I make it say not, it will be true. Again, we have discussed this. Comparison operator and an equality operator are completely two different things, and a comparison operator will not be changing the value. All these comparison operators take two operands. After applying all these, any of these 6 operators, the value of the operands will not be changed. The next type of operator is called logical operator. Logical operator, again, there are basically 3 types of logical operators in Python: and, or not, and, or not. And, or, the first two takes 2 operands, and not takes only 1 operand. Let's look at an example. Okay, so this thing you can, okay, logical operator. What I am doing is I am declaring one variable A as true, one variable B as false. So A and B, it will be true if both of them are true. Otherwise, it will be false. A or B will be resulting into true if either of the operands is true. If both of them are false, then only it will be false. And not C is basically it will be changing the value. If the current value of A is true, it will be printing as false. If the current value is false, it will be printing as true. So A and B, as you can see, it is printing false because B is false. A or B is true because again A is true, and not A, as A is true, not A is false. Again, these operators will be needed in the latter part when we'll be checking, or when we'll be checking some conditions, some compound conditions. The other type of operator which will not be encountering that much in this course is called bitwise operator. It operates on operands. The operands can be variables or literals, and they are considered in the binary format. So if A and B are two variables, say A is 12, the corresponding binary is, say, I have only considered the 8 bits. It's 00001100, and B containing 5. The binary representation is 00000101. So basically I have considered the least 8 bits. So these are some the bitwise operators. Again, this will not be that much useful in this course. Another, as I have mentioned in the beginning, the sixth type of operator is identity operator. There are two identity operators, is and is not. Is will be resulting into true if the operands are identical, and is not will be true if the operands are not identical. So again, this will be encountering later on when the course will be gradually going into the deep. Here one thing, although this will be a little bit confusing to, I guess, all of you, I would still like to mention that two variables of same type and equal, containing equal value does not imply that they are identical. That is, using this identity operator, so if I declare, say A equals to 10 and B also equals to 10, sorry, and if I print A is B, I'll be getting true. But there will be situations, we'll be discussing that. In those cases, it might not be true that two variables containing the same value are identical. This is saying, as the result is true, it is indicating that A and B are identical. But again, it will not be true for all cases. Later on, during the discussion on objects and classes, we'll be encountering situations where this will be discussed. The last type of operator, membership operator, will be again a very useful one. There are again two, like the identity operator, there are two membership operators, in and not in. In will be true if some value and variable is found in a sequence, and not in will be true if some value or variable is not found in a sequence. Now, what is sequence? A sequence is basically a string, list, tuple, set, or dictionary. String will be discussing in a short while, and in the latter part we'll be discussing all of them. These four components are basically the strongest pillar in Python: list, tuple, set, and dictionary. So most of the programs, so for the now what we are doing is we are basically learning the ABCD of Python. This is basically the tools that you will be needing while doing your research. But to understand them, we need to understand these ABCDs of Python. So that's what we are doing. So while discussing them, we'll be using, or we will be discussing this membership operators again. Now, an expression, as we have discussed, will be consisting of values, variables, and operators. Taking the cue from the statement, the definition of expression, a statement is basically a set of expressions that a Python interpreter can actually execute, and some output can be and some produced output can be stored in some variable. Broadly, if I say, there are basically there are other type of statements as well, but for the time being, let's consider on 4 type of Python statements. Assignment statements we have already discussed. This is a conditional statement. This is the new thing or the thing that we have just touched upon previously. This is a print statement and this is an import statement. So we have already discussed this. Now the conditional statement. Assignment statement we have already discussed. Here one thing, as I have defined, have shown you earlier, that in an assignment statement, all variables in the right hand side should be defined earlier before using. And also, as we have seen, the expressions basically produce an immediate output, such as, say, if I write, say, simple 10, and if I execute, you can see there is an immediate output here. This is an expression. But if I make this expression as a statement, say a equals to 10, if I execute it, you can see there is no immediate output. This is the contrast between an expression and a statement in Python. So if I want to basically, this is a small code snippet where the Fahrenheit temperature is being converted into the corresponding centigrade. So here in this statement, this is basically an assignment statement. On the right hand side, there is an expression. Here, FAHR is basically a variable which should be defined earlier, and then we can use this. Given the Fahrenheit, say 98, we will be getting the corresponding centigrade, I think around, say, I don't know, 28, 24 or something like that. So before using this statement, we should be defining far. Now we'll be concluding today's discussion with the background of an assignment statement. That is, what actually happens in the background. Let's consider this assignment statement. Principal equals to principal star in bracket 1 plus r by 100 bracket close, then exponentiation t. So basically 1 plus r by 100 to the power t into the principal. So to make this statement a valid one, we should be declaring principal r and t before this statement. Let's consider I have initialized principal with 10,000, r by 5 and t by 2. Then when the interpreter will be encountering this statement, it will be first evaluating the right hand side. In the right hand side, the expression is principal star, then this. What it will be doing is, it will be replacing the variables with the corresponding values it is storing. Principal is storing 10,000, r is storing 5, and t is storing 2. So after this replacement, it will be looking like something like this: 10,000 star and then this. Then it will be performing the operation following the BODMAS or PEMDAS rule that we have discussed earlier. And it will be generating the output after evaluating the expression, and then it will be storing that value again back to principal. As there is, in the left hand side, as principal equals to this, so it will be getting stored back to the value of principal. So it will be overwriting the previous value of principal. So the new principal value will be 11,025. This is what happens in the background. There can be multi-line statements as well. In case you want to make a multi-line statement, we need to, at the end of the line, we should be putting this one backslash. Again, this backslash is used as the escape character, or the escape character that we have discussed earlier. Another way is to put them in a bracket, either in first bracket, second bracket, or third bracket. All of them has some specific meanings. First bracket, we will be discussing them again later. So this is basically a list, and using a third bracket will be, basically it is a set. Using a first bracket, if there are commas, if there are multiple elements, it is basically a tuple. Again, as I have said, those four, list, set, tuples, and dictionary, are the four components basically which actually is a the features that make that had made this Python so powerful. We will be discussing them later on. Also, as I have said, multi-line statements can also be put in a single line by putting one semicolon in between the statements. That's it for today's lecture. So we have discussed about Python expressions, we have discussed about different operators, and we started with the Python statements. Now, up to today's discussion, I will be expecting you, that you will be able to write these two codes on your own. Write a program to take a temperature in Celsius as input from the user using the input function, and output the corresponding temperature in Fahrenheit. Take two integers A and B as input from the user. Perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and exponentiation operation on those two integers. I'll be expecting that you will be able to write them at your end. Thanks a lot.